So the activity that I chose for this aesthetics and art lesson is called the dot to dot activity. And for this activity, the learning objectives is that children will have the opportunity to demonstrate their color recognition, and they will also have the opportunity to demonstrate their fine motor skills either through the use of a paintbrush or through their finger. So you only need three materials for this activity. You need a piece of paper for each child, various colors of paint, washable, please, and a paintbrush for every student. So for the procedure, what you're going to do is you're going to give each child their piece of paper and a paintbrush. And then you're going to have them select two paint colors or more if you think that they're advanced enough to use three or four colors. And you're going to have them squeeze out multiple small dots of both colors or of each color, depending how many colors they have, onto their paper. So they can do however many dots they want. Um, if they're two or three, I think 4 or 5 dots of each color is enough. If they're older, they could use more dots. It just depends on where they are, what level they are. So you're just gonna put multiple dots on the piece of paper, and they're gonna be small dots, and the child can do the small dots, or a teacher can help facilitate them. So then what they're gonna do is they're gonna pick up their paintbrush, and they're gonna connect the same color dots without touching the second color. So for example, I could say to the student, oh, I see that you chose blue and gray for your two colors. Now I want you to use your paintbrush and connect all of your blue dots without touching your gray dots. And so then they would just grab the paintbrush and then just drag through to from one blue dot to the next. And they're just going to connect all of their dots, like just like so. It doesn't have to be in a line or a shape. They could choose which way to connect them. If they want to connect a dot 2 ways, that's perfectly okay. And then connect their dots. So that's the blue dots. And so we can see that they didn't touch the gray dots. So for the next one, um, you're gonna have them connect their second dots, trying to not touch the first color that they used. Sometimes they may need to, like for example, I have a triangle and I have a gray dot in the middle. So in that case, you would tell the child, or sometimes our colors have to go over a bridge so that they can get to the other dot. But that's okay. We just want to try to keep them separate where we can. So then they would just start, so they could go one bridge, only one bridge going this way, and then the rest of the colors, the rest of the dots don't need a bridge because they're not trapped in the second color. And so then they just go from one dot to another. And then you could encourage them to use the whole paper if they want to color it all in, or if they just want to make their lines. And so you can tell them that like making the bridge is okay, or for example, right here, the blue and the gray are almost touching down here, and that's okay too. We want them to be able to touch, but we don't want them to mix. So we can show them that it's okay to have our multiple colors on our paper without mixing them to make all one color, so that they can show that they have the skills to color with multiple colors without just turning it into all kind of one mushy brown that can sometimes happen. So you can encourage them to color the whole page and make use all of their paint. So for example, right here or inside this little triangle, the triangle could be colored um, gray all the way inside. If they want a little more paint to color all of their paper, that's okay. And so then they can color more if they want to, or they could just leave the lines, whatever they feel comfortable with. And then they can set their paper away to dry. So some of the accommodations that we could have to do is when squeezing out the small dots. Maybe some of our children want to squeeze bigger dots. I know children like to just squeeze things until it's all gone. So maybe we want as the teachers to tell them, okay, that's a big enough dot, or we squeeze for them if we feel that they're not going to be able to handle how much they squeeze. So another thing that I had already mentioned before too was using multiple colors if we feel that they are capable and ready to do that, using 3 or 4 colors, maybe even 5, depending on where they are. Um, and then a third accommodation that we could possibly do is having them use their finger instead of a paintbrush, just specifying that they can only use one finger, and that we only want one finger to be touching the paint, and that way they're still working on their fine motor skills.